You walk into a room, right, and you see this giant, like, size 18 muddy footprint right on the carpet. You don't just say, the suspect is tall. You look at the evidence and say, the suspect must be tall.
Right, exactly. Because that one single word it completely changes the sentence. It goes from just a simple observation to, well, actual active detective work.
Welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today we're cracking open the grade 11 textbook, Get Involved, specifically Unit 3, which is literally titled Mysteries.
And our mission here is to build your grammatical detective toolkit. We really want to help you completely ace your upcoming exam.
Yeah, so we're mastering modal verbs of deduction and speculation, and also the past perfect tense.
Let's stick with that footprint scenario for a second. Using modals, those helper words like must or might or can't, it's basically like climbing a ladder of certainty.
A ladder of certainty, I like that.
Yeah, so if you see that massive print, you're at the very top of the ladder, right? It must be tall. But if the print is, I don't know, smudged or unclear.
Then you step down a rung.
Exactly. You step down to might or could be tall.
Yeah.
And if the footprint is tiny, I assume I drop straight to the bottom of the ladder, right? Like they can't be tall.
Right.
But wait, this is actually where I'd probably lose points on the exam, to be honest. Because my instinct is to think the opposite of must is mustn't. Like if you must be tall, the opposite should be you mustn't be tall.
It sounds totally logical. I mean, it really does. But mustn't is strictly for rules and obligation. Think of you mustn't chew gum in class.
Oh, right.
When we're deducing things, we aren't making rules at all. We are calculating probability. So the absolute opposite of I am 100% certain this is true is I am 100% certain this is impossible.
So that's why English forces us to use can't or couldn't for deduction.
Uh-huh.
We're weighing logic, not handing out punishments.
Spot on.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's a wrinkle for you. The textbook mentions this mystery about local blue dogs.
Oh, yeah. The blue dogs. Yeah, where people eventually figured out the dogs rolled in blue dye to cool off on a hot day. But that didn't just happen, It happened yesterday. So how do I use a modal for something in the past? I mean, I can't say they musted have rolled.
No, definitely not. English doesn't let us just slap an ED onto a modal verb to show past deduction. We actually need a sort of time machine.
A time machine.
Yeah, so we use the word have to push the probability into the past. The formula becomes the modal plus have plus the past participle.
The past participle is just that verb form that usually ends in ed or en, right? Like rolled or eaten.
Exactly.
So they must have rolled in the die. The must shows my certainty right now, and the have rolled shows the action happened in the past.
Precisely. You are completely separating your current deduction from the past event.
Okay, so once we figure out who did it and how, we need an alibi, right? We need a timeline.
We do.
Because if a suspect says, the train left, I arrived, that is a terrible alibi. Did they see the train leave? Were they on it? The sequence is just a mess.
And that ambiguity is exactly why the past perfect tense exists. It is literally a timeline tracker.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it proves definitively that one action finished before another action even started in the past. And you build it using had plus that past participle again.
So the train had left by the time I arrived. The Kent had left guarantees that the departure was already history before my arrival.
Right. But on an exam, you don't always have time to sit and ponder the philosophical timeline of a sentence.
Definitely not. You're rushing.
Right, you're rushing. So you need to look for the breadcrumbs. Signal words are your absolute best friend here.
What kind of signal word?
Look for words like by the time, already, never, or after. Like if a test question says, we hadn't studied German before we went to Germany.
Right.
That word before is a massive red flag, signaling a sequence of past events.
Well, I've got another red flag straight from the text, and it's a tiny one. It's the contraction apostrophe D.
Oh, that is a sneaky one.
It is. If a suspect says, I'd seen the movie, they mean I had seen, which is our past perfect. But if they say, I'd like to see the movie, that is, I would like.
Yes, and missing that one single letter completely wrecks the timeline. I had seen versus I would see are very different things.
Exactly. So nailing the exam really just comes down to matching the logic of the grammar to the logic of the evidence. Modals weigh the clues, and the past perfect locks down the timeline.
You are literally using language to build an airtight case.
And that is what I find so fascinating to leave you with. We always think of grammar as just like boring rules on a page.
Right. Rote memorization.
Exactly. But to even speak everyday English, our brains are forced to act as unconscious detectives and time travelers. We are constantly calculating probabilities and sequencing history without us even noticing.
We just decode our environment one sentence at a time.
So the next time you look at that grammatical crime scene on your exam, remember you're not just filling in bubbles, you're holding the magnifying glass. Good luck.